Petrobras appointed Luiz Fernando Nery as interim executive communications manager. He had held the same position from 2015 to 2016, as head, being responsible for managing the state-owned company's $1 million advertising budget, but was fired in 2019 on suspicion of corruption. At the time, an internal administrative process revealed deviations in funds for advertising and events. The appointment was made on October 1, according to information published by the newspaper O Globo and confirmed by Poder 360. With the interim title, Petrobras management is able to circumvent the company's compliance rules, improved after the Petroleo scandal, which would require it to be evaluated by the Compliance Committee. Nery was appointed in April by the president of Petrobras to head the executive communication management as head. At the time, however, the state-owned company's compliance committee barred the executive's return due to irregularities in the past. Luiz Fernando Nery is linked to Wilson Santa Rosa, who commanded Petrobras Communications Management from 2003 to 2015, that is, during the initial 2 terms of President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, Workers' Party, PT, and the first of Dilma Rousseff, Workers' Party, PT. He is a trusted member of the Workers' Party, PT, and has a good relationship with the Single Federation of Oil Workers. The executive is also close to the president of Petrobras. After the Compliance Committee's refusal, the president of the state-owned company allocated him as his special advisor to the presidency. It was the first dribble towards the company's own compliance, since, for the position, an evaluation by the committee was also not necessary. In his place, Vânia Goncalves was appointed to command the executive communication management, as head. Nery, as interim, will be a kind of substitute manager. In other words, it will cover any absences of the holder and can perform the role for up to 180 days. In practice, however, he tends to have much more power and influence than that. The dismissal. Luiz Fernando Nery was one of Petrobras' strong names in the Dilma government. In 2016, the state-owned company opened a case against him in its body responsible for internal investigations, called the Internal Investigation Commission. According to O Globo, the process investigated possible irregularities with the spending of more than $200,000 on tickets in boxes at the Bahia Carnival for politicians allied with Dilma, in addition to sponsoring the electric trio of a relative of the former president's chief of staff of the company, Sergio Gabrielli. In 2019, Nery was fired. According to the newspaper, he had reached an agreement with Petrobras before the end of the investigations. The process only concluded in 2020, and indicated that he should have been fired for just cause. In the past, Luiz Fernando Nery was also involved in another scandal, also related to Carnival. In 2012, he was already part of the management, not the head, but he was responsible for sponsoring samba schools in Rio de Janeiro. That year, his wife, Patricia Nery, was named drum queen at Portela, one of the schools awarded, even though she was not known to the community. Company wants to release referral rules. Parallel to this movement, a change is underway in Petrobras bylaws, the main objective of which is to facilitate the appointments of politicians and members of the public administration to high-level positions at the state-owned company. The proposal has already been approved by the board of directors and will be analyzed by shareholders at a meeting scheduled for November 31, 2023. The proposal is to end the prohibitions on the appointment of administrators provided for in the state law, Law 13303 of 2016, which were considered unconstitutional in a monocratic decision by the retired Minister of the Federal Supreme Court, STF, Ricardo Lewandowski. In the precautionary decision, Lewandowski said that the section of the law that prohibited appointments of Minister of State, Secretary of State, Municipal Secretary, Office Holder, without permanent link with the public service, of a special nature or direction and superior advice in public administration. This decision still needs to be confirmed in the Supreme Court plenary. However, Petrobras and the government already want to formalize the understanding in the statute to avoid new questions. In practice, the measure would overturn currently existing impediments to appointments of administrators to the company's high level from public administration. The creation of a capital remuneration reserve was also proposed, but Petrobras did not provide details on the matter until October 30, 2023. On the other hand, the company indicated that the current shareholder remuneration policy remains in force. The two changes caused reactions in the market, which fears that changes in requirements for appointments could result in greater questions regarding governance, further away from process transparency. On October 23, 2023, when Petrobras announced the proposal, the company lost around $6.4 billion in market value. The state-owned company's shares fell more than 6% on the São Paulo Stock Exchange, B3. What the company says. When contacted by Poder 360, Petrobras did not respond whether Nery will have to undergo some type of new compliance assessment for the position to which he was appointed. The oil company denied that Nery was the target of the internal investigation committee regarding tickets to the Bahian Carnival. He also said that his dismissal, in 2019, was not related to the aforementioned internal investigation. The employee was not accused of corruption, he did not work in the management responsible for the case investigated, and the conclusion of the internal investigation did not attribute any responsibility to the professional. The dismissal was carried out by the then executive manager of human resources, Claudio Costa, in the interest of the company, without any accusation of corruption or through an agreement, said the oil company in a statement. I invite you to watch our videos about the pre-salt layer and the history of Petrobras. To access, just click on the respective image available on the screen.